Hello, it is Wit and Wisdom Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I'm glad that I remembered it was Wednesday. Sometimes I don't know what day it is, and that's okay by me because all my days just run right into one another sometimes. Today I ran through the questions and there was a few things that stood out. A lot of times I'll go through that question thread, and if you want to submit questions, if you go to announcements and scroll all the way back, there's one thing that says drop your questions here, and that's what I take from. So I usually go over and I see if there's a pattern of a lot of questions being asked. I'll kind of lump them together. So today I want to kind of talk mainly about like not waiting for somebody else to run your business, or not waiting until you have it all or know exactly what it looks like, or just not waiting, just do the thing. A couple questions that came up was like, what does it look like for you to blank? Like, what does it look like for you to have a conversation with somebody? What does it look like for you to introduce the business? What does it look like? I'm going to tell you, I never modeled after anybody else for what they were doing. I just said, you know what? I want to work this as a business. I have a goal I need to meet within a year, and I'm just going to figure it out along the way. I still don't know all the answers. I don't ever want to know all the answers. I didn't know everything before I started sharing. I just knew and I believed in Young Living. So what does it look like for me to talk to somebody, whether I know them or whether it's somebody that I've just run into or we start a conversation? It looks like me trying to be a nice, normal human and having a conversation. I think oftentimes we forget that this is a relationship business. I don't ever want to go up to somebody and say, hey, buy this. You should really, really buy this. I'm going to go up to somebody and say, hey, how are you doing today? Even in my text message conversations, even when people come to me and they outright ask me, tell me about essential oils, or I need you to do this for me, or whatever it is, I flip it a little bit because they're human and I'm human. And I say, oh my goodness, I'm so excited that you're reaching out. How are you doing today? How are you handling what's going on today? I saw that you just got back from a vacation. I saw that whatever. And I want them to be seen. So in any conversation that I have, whether it's talking to somebody about oils, the business, just trying to engage in a conversation, I remember that it's not about me, it's about them. And in order for me to fill their needs, I need to know who they are, because they are not just a customer to me. They are not just a member to me. They are somebody that is trusting me on this path to help them feel empowered about whatever decisions that they are about to make. So when I can insert this answer to any question, what does it look like for me to talk about a 101? What does it look like for me to talk about ER? What does it look like for me to introduce the business? I treat them as a human, and I look for where I can then insert things. So if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they say, tell me more about essential oils, I say, what makes you interested in essential oils? I'm the one asking the questions. I'm the one trying to pull information, because then if they say, oh, I'm really interested in sleep, amazing. Now I drop my testimonial. Now I say, when I first started with essential oils, I hear you. Sleep was not something that was being had in my house. I had a 1-year-old at the time. I had a husband that snored. Like, it was very stressful for me to sleep. So the things that I personally did was, and then I fill in the blank. So I'm using the information from the questions that I'm asking, and then I'm bringing in my testimonial, because you can take a book, right? Like, I can just be like, here, person, have a book and read all the things. Nobody cares about that. They care about what is actually working for you and what is your story. So that is why the more products you can use, the more testimonials you can build, the more confident you're going to be in speaking about the oils, in talking about the business, in all of that. This is why when I started, I opened up the EOPR and I just started reading. And when something was like, oh, that looks like something I should do, let me put that on my ER order. Let me then do something with it so I have something to share. So use your products. When you use your products and you read about the products, you're going to feel more confident in sharing. And just remember to ask questions, because at the end of the day, You could tell somebody everything, the 400 million ways to use a starter kit, but if you're not meeting their need, it's worthless and they're not going to see the value. So let's go back to this person who asked me about sleep, and I told them about the diffuser and Valor and RC and Stress Away, and I'm linking it back to oils that are in the kit, a couple that might be outside the kit like cedarwood. I'm going to drop that. And then, how soon do you want to see some effects of this? Like, what's your holdup? Like, why don't you already have essential oils? And let me listen to that. Do they say budget? Well, now I'm going to drop in the value and how much this starter kit has actually saved us money and paid for itself within the first month. And I can help you do that as well. Listen to where their needs are. It's not about you having all that information, because if somebody at one point, if they said, well, I'm really interested in essential oils for Huhne-Nutzi Flugen, and I'm like, I've never heard of that, I literally will say, I don't have personal experience with that, but let me check some resources that we have and see what we can figure out about that. So I'm letting them know we've got resources, we've got a way to figure out how do we meet what your need is. And then you work through that. So the most important thing that you can learn to grow your business is to listen and to ask questions in order to meet needs. And if you're like, but Jill, I don't know how to ask questions, then you got to practice. Practice on your dog, practice on your partner, practice on your kids, whatever that looks like. I'm not in this to have all the answers. I'm in this to ask really good questions to help support the other person. Good questions are, why are you interested in that? Tell me more about whatever it is. How do you see me helping you? Okay. Now, when it comes to approaching a business question or being like, oh my gosh, this person, like, I know that they could totally do this as a business, I will reach out again. How are you doing today? What's going on? How's life going? How are you handling things? And then if we guide the conversation towards stress and such, I'll be talking about the products that I'm using. I might slip in that I started sharing and I'm working with a new person, and it's really neat because they've been able to pay off another bill or do whatever in their life. And, oh yeah, I've got a class that's talking about the opportunity and what it can all do coming up. Would you like the invite to that? You should always have a class that you can invite people to. Bethany Shipley taught, I don't even remember where I saw it. I think I saw it on her Diamond Workbook Instagram live thing. And she also had come into my group and dropped her wisdom about having 4 categories. And like, you need to meet education needs of those 4 categories every single month. So your people that aren't yet members, your new members, your ER members, and your business members. So if you plan out the month and have opportunities to invite any of those categories, no matter when you meet somebody, no matter when you have a conversation, you have something to drop them into or to invite them to. And that's where the magic happens. Hey, we've got this class coming up on Thursday. I would love to see you there. I'm going to send you the link. Just click going. Even if you can't make it live, you'll be able to watch it up to 2 weeks later. And I'll actually follow up with you after to see what you think about that. And I even have it set up so that my class list, people get a text message 15 minutes before if they opt into it. It has drastically increased our rate of the number of people that come to the events. Now, if you're saying, Jill, I can't do that many classes, you come together. When we have 20 classes going on in a month, it's because we have a bunch of different people working together, cross-line, upline, downline, all together to pour in to say, I'm going to host this class, but because I'm working with, 20 other people on this call, we now have 20 classes in the month that I'm able to promote and invite my people to. So see what that looks like. Always have opportunities to invite people to learn more, and make sure that you're hitting them where they at. Are they on Facebook, or do you need an Instagram class? Do you need a Zoom class? Do you do Facebook Live? Whatever that looks like meet them where they're at. I always say that I have a buffet, right? Becoming Unstoppable is part of that buffet. Grow is part of that buffet. Zoom calls are part of that buffet. Facebook groups, Instagram, Telegram, those are all parts of the buffet so that people can meet their own needs with where they are at. So look at your business. Are you meeting people where they're at, or are you just telling them where to go? Ask a lot of good questions. Remember, you don't have to know everything, and just remember they're human. I think at the end of the day, if we just take a step back in every conversation and remember there's a human there, that it's not just a number, it's not just a sale, and we go in leading with the fact that we want this person to walk out feeling empowered about whatever decision they make, that's the intention and that's the energy that we need to bring to it. Okay? Another piece that's kind of related to that, stop waiting. Stop waiting for somebody else to come in and run your business, or come in and tell you what you need to know, or teach you what you think you need to know. Stop waiting for, well, I got to wait until I get that book so that I can read it. I got to wait till I get this product. I got to wait until I know more. I've got to wait until, stop waiting, because you're losing your voice during that time of waiting. There are people right now that are supposed to hear what you have to say, and you're missing them because you're scared to talk. Maybe there's a limiting belief that you feel like, well, I just don't know enough. Just start talking. Like right now, if I asked you, I want to know one way that you use lavender oil, and go ahead and comment here. What is one way that you use lavender oil? You've got it. You are already a master of lavender oil. So now go out there and share it. Stop waiting for somebody else. Like, I don't wait on my upline to give me enough information, or to tell me when I should host classes, or to tell me what to do, or give me guidance. I go out there because I have a goal and I just figure it out. And if you want to sit there and be like, but that's your personality, we all have red, green, yellow, and blue in us, okay? Like, we've all got that inside of us. It's just whether or not we want to bring it to the table and use it as a strength. You know what you have to do. You have to talk to people, and you have to have a way of educating them and meeting their needs. So how are you going to do that? You're going to put classes on your schedule. Nobody has to tell you you need to put classes on the schedule. When I say classes, that can be one-on-one calls, that can be a live on Instagram, that can be a Facebook class, a Zoom call, whatever it means for you to get in front of somebody. It doesn't have to look like this planned out thing. A lot of my classes or my education things are me popping on, going live, and being like, all right, I'm teaching you now. This is what I'm going to teach you about. You know what? I'm going to do a surprise. I'm going to teach you about the 3 oils that happen to be next to me. You know why? Because I use these oils. And when you use the products, you can talk about them. So I can tell you about how high the frequency is of Northern Lights Black Spruce. Do I know the number? Nope, but I know it's got a high frequency, and I know that when I pour a drop on the crown of my head, I am on. Like, I can get stuff done. I have focus. It is calming. It is energizing. In some weird way, it's calming, energizing. It's amazing. It smells great. I mix it a lot of times with florals because that spruce comes in and just gives me that woodsy edge that I love so much. I can just tell you about it, right? Let's see, sacred frankincense, another one I love on the crown of my head. I love right here. I love it during meditation and prayer. It really grounds me. Amazing for grounding. And white angelica, because everybody needs a little protection, right? And so you put some in your hand, and I rub it, and I put it on my shoulders and my chest and the back, and it's like an angelic shield, right? I love it. It keeps negative energy at bay, which nobody needs right now. Just did a class. All I would have to do is pop on live on Instagram and teach you about the oils that happen to be on my shelf right now. Stop overthinking and stop waiting to have the perfect graphics and have the perfect all of this. Just get out there and educate people. And guess what? You're gonna suck the first few times you do anything new. If you're stopping and waiting until you're perfect enough, or until you know enough, or until it's pretty enough, you're never gonna learn. I want to do things messy. I want to go into things and I want to make them dirty, because I know that I am going to learn through whatever comes out at the end of it. I can watch it back and be like, ooh, didn't like, you know what? Maybe I should try to have a different background. Maybe I should learn a little bit more about this oil so I can be fluid, or I forgot to say something. Let me just write a note down. Learn through the messy things, but you can't do the messy things until you just jump in and say go. Like, I'm going to encourage you, no matter when you're listening to this live or in replay, that sometime within the next hour, you hop onto a Facebook Live, you hop onto an Instagram Live or the little video thing, and you teach about something. Doesn't have to be Young Living, doesn't have to be oils. Teach about something. Now, if your first reaction is like, oh, I can't, do it. Just do it. Because what is going to happen? What is going to happen? You're going to teach somebody, and somebody's going to look at it and be like, huh, that might fill my need. They're not looking at your hair. They're not looking at if your makeup is perfect. They're not looking if you have a beautiful YouTube background set up and all the followers and all the likes. They're listening to your voice, and they want to hear what you have to say. So that's your challenge. Within 1 hour of stopping watching this, you got to go out there and do a live. And I want you, once you're done, to tag me on it so that I can see it. Whether it's in Instagram and you have to send it to me, or if it's on Facebook, I want to see it because I want to learn from you. And do it from passion. Do it from something that you love. Like if it's not doing a quick thing about oils, maybe you really love horses or maybe you really love gardening. And so you're like, you know what? I'm going to take you out and show you my tomato plant. Or maybe you fail at gardening. So you go out and you're like, look at my dead tomato plant. Anybody got any tips? This is what we've tried. This is what we're doing. You know what? I'm just coming here to say the first time that I planted a tomato plant, I failed. And so I need all your help. That's as easy as it can be, is just getting in front of people and starting to get used to teaching them about things, okay? Stop waiting. Stop waiting. Because there's a lot of goals that you have, and the only thing that is holding you back from those goals, it's you. It's not your upline, it's not your downline, it's not your crossline, it's not, I expect leadership to do more for me. They don't owe you anything. This is your business and it's all in your hands, so you decide where you want it to go from here. Do you want to be in this same place 1 year from now? You may want to. You may be like, oh, you know what, this is totally comfortable. Because you probably will. You'll probably be in this exact same place 1 year from now if you don't make any changes. Now, do you want to be in the same place 5 years from now? 10 years from now? How about 20 years from now? Would you be A-okay with everything as it is right now, zero growth, all your limiting beliefs carried 20 years from now? How does that feel? For me, that feels like death. Like that feels like a pit in my stomach and makes me want to vomit to know that I would have no growth over the next 20 years. That is failure to me, is not having any growth whatsoever. So instead, I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to do something that puts me forward instead of waiting for somebody to do something for me, because it's in my hands. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to make decisions for myself, for my husband, and my kids. Because at the last Wit and Wisdom Wednesday, I talked about the rocks and how I stack them. That's what's most important to me, and that's why I'm making decisions. I'm not making decisions for my friends. I'm not making decisions for my others. I'm making decisions for me and my life. And my downline, my upline, my crossline, my people that aren't in Young Living, they have no bearing on what my business is going to do. I'm going to show up consistently, and I'm going to work my business, and I'm going to move in that forward direction so that not in 20 years, but in 1 year, I am going to be moving forward. In 5 years, I'm going to be blowing forward so far that you won't even be able to see me. Like that's how fast and how hard I'm running, because that's where I want to go. So I want you to think about that. When you're at that crossroads and you have to make the decision between, am I going to work my business today? Or am I going to watch Netflix or the cat video or TikTok? Am I okay with being exactly where I am for the next 20 years? If that answer is no, do something with intention. I post 5 daily tasks in here every day. Each thing should only take 5 to 10 minutes. Set your clock for 10 minutes and commit to doing one of those things and get it done. Because doing one thing is going to get you further ahead than waiting and doing nothing. Your life is waiting for you. Everything that you want, all the abundance that you were created for, is waiting for you because it's already in existence. Royal Crown Diamond, it's in existence. That paycheck, it's in existence. You just haven't done the work to get there yet, right? And so it's not an overnight thing. Like the cake doesn't magically appear. You have ingredients, you have to put them together, you have to put them in a pan, you have to let it bake. So are you doing the things to put that together so that you can get there? Because it's waiting for you. Don't wait to get there, because it's all waiting for you. So if here's my goal that's waiting for me, but I'm waiting here, I'm never going to get there. Stop waiting. Get off this video. Go do your live where you teach something. Tag me on it when you're done, because I'm going to watch and I'm going to comment and I'm going to bump it up in your algorithm. And then I'll see you next week on next week's Wit and Wisdom Wednesday.